Welcome to Golden Mastermind Seminars Radio with your host, Jeffery Combs.
Here we are, Tuesday, Facebook Live. It is my privilege and pleasure to be here with you on July 1st, the year of our Lord 2025. It is an absolute honor to be here. So if you're watching this on replay, thank you very much. If you are coming on live, it is my honor to be here with you. And I have a great content for you on the 1st of July, 2025. So powder blue and gold, two of my favorite colors. Jared, good to see you this afternoon. So the law of the few. This is absolutely one of my favorite topics of all time. And here are a couple books that can assist you with this. The 80-20 Principle, and this is by Richard Koch, C-O-C-H, and the book In the Zone. Look at this book. I've broken the spine on this numerous times, In the Zone. And then to augment what we're going to be covering today, these are from my affirmation cards. If you do not have these, you definitely deserve to have a pack of these. These are my More Heart Than Talent affirmation cards. And if you're coming to my Millionaire Blueprint, you can pick some of those up at the event. So we're going to cover today the law of the few. We're going to break down the law of numbers, what it means to be an outlier. What does it mean to be a black sheep? What does it mean to be chosen? And out of this card deck right here, so this is an old box. I produced these in 2005. Jared, I believe you have these. And then this is the deck itself right there. So I'm just going to cut one card and see what we have here. I have more heart than talent. My heart carries me, my talent does not. Now, here's the cards that are applicable for today's Facebook Live. So, Danielle, good to see you this afternoon. Thank you for being here. Danielle, Aaron, and Jared. So these are two cards that are applicable to the topic for today. I easily and effortlessly attract prosperity partners I can collaborate with. That is the card right there. Prosperity partners, I can collaborate with them. And so then this one, Rosalinda, good to see you, my girl. And then this one right here, I attract to my reality entrepreneurs who I can develop into 6- and 7-figure income earners. So I coach multiple men and women who are 6- and 7-figure income earners. I've been coaching for 27 years. I've specialized in network marketing, direct sales, multi-level marketing, real estate, insurance, and coaches, along with other branders and other small and large businesses. I coach attorneys who are multimillionaires. I've coached real estate investors who are multimillionaires, who do multiple properties, fix and flips, multiple situations. And I've also coached many people who fail. That's the 80-20 principle. And so if you are on today's Facebook Live, thank you very much. The topic is called the LOF, the law of the few. For you to be the law of the few, one of the few that has the ability to cross the bridge, it's going to require a mindset that's conducive to wealth creation, a mindset that's conducive to team building, a mindset that is conducive to attracting to your reality, quality, like-minded success seekers who you become in alignment with. And you do not have to be wealthy to be able to attract these people from ground zero, but you have to be comfortable with the possibility of doing that. Now, right before this call, I coached a man in the Provence of France. He's on a world-round trip. He's on a worldwide trip where he will not be back in America till August 20th. Where did he make his wealth? In State Farm, in insurance, over 40 years. So he is a multi-millionaire owning a 8-figure property in Arizona. And I coached him right before, I just got off the phone with him 4 minutes ago. And where did he make his wealth? In insurance, which is what I said. Network marketing, direct sales, insurance, real estate investing, branding, coaching. However it is, whatever model you're going to create, that's going to be on you, but it's going to require you to be able to attract quality buyers, quality people who see value in the value proposition. It's going to be your responsibility to be able to attract people who see the value in what you're offering. Your dialogue with money has to be conducive to what you seek to attract. If you live in broke thoughts, poverty consciousness, if you're in scarcity, debt, and have run the table on the debt cycle, it's going to be your responsibility to start to access prosperity consciousness so that you can be the law of the few. If you're going to be the law of the many, you're going to be in the 97% of the population. If you're going to be in the law of the few, it drops down to the 1%, and then 1% of 20% of 1% is 1/20th of 1%. That's what I am. I'm from a small town in southwest Iowa, Clarinda, Iowa. I grew up part of my life there and the other part of my life in Maryville, Missouri, if you ever want to look them up. There's an area of the United States where Nebraska, Missouri, and Iowa touch. It's right below Omaha and above Kansas City. That's where I grew up. My grandfather was a multi-millionaire. My parents became millionaires later in life, but my grandfather was someone I worked for. My neighbor down the highway was another man who was a multi-millionaire. He had interest in a bank in Omaha and a hospital. He was also a hard money lender. Now, back in the day, he was charging 8% interest, which wasn't even that much. He wasn't even that much of a hard money lender. But I learned from him. He had a Lincoln Continental, and I was his chauffeur. And I used to drive him to Omaha, Nebraska when I was 16 through 18. I baled thousands of bales of hay for him. And when he died on his deathbed, he gave me $10,000, which I was a drug addict and alcoholic. It felt like it was $100,000. And it was definitely a message from God. Money must come to you easily and effortlessly. If you're a money struggler, you will have challenges being able to attract your reality, the people that you can partner and brand with, the people that will buy your ticket, your bigger ticket products from you. That means your dialogue with money must improve. That means your dialogue with money is how you communicate money. Is money difficult? Is it hard? Now, the 20,000 meals you spent with your parents will also have a byproduct of the way you think, the way you feel, the way you operate when it comes to prosperity, reciprocity, flow, money flowing to you. It must begin to flow to you so that you're not a hardaholic, a chronic debtor, someone who doesn't pay their bills. If that is you, then you're sending a mixed message. And if you live in debt, it's understandable. That's the system taught you that, but it's your responsibility to live a prosperous, good life. And you can do that through, once again, multiple streams of income come from multiple business ideas. What are your ideas to create wealth? What are your ideas to create money? So for you to be the law of the few in the money world, you're going to have to be creative and innovative. It's going to require repetition and experience. You're going to have to find a product or a niche that you can sell that pay you commissions, and especially profits. The great Jim Rohn, who I had the privilege of sharing the stage with on 5 different occasions. I mean, not many people can say that. They even shared the stage with him once. I shared the stage with Jim Rohn 5 times. I shared the stage 15 times with Mark Victor Hansen, over 10 times with John Assaraf. The number 1 speaker in Australia, Pat Mesiti, I shared the stage with him twice. Judith Orloff, multiple award-winning author. I shared the stage with her once. I mean, I could go down the laundry list of the people I've shared stages with. From this small town in Iowa and Missouri, you can do it too, but it requires tenacity. It requires desire. It requires an absolute rock-solid game plan that you can duplicate one day at a time over a long lifetime. I had a late start. Perhaps you have had that also. I didn't get clean and sober until I was right at 32 years old. I passed my 32nd birthday in a drug, alcohol, heroin clinic in Modesto, California at a county hospital. I came out of that clinic at 32 years old and committed to myself that I would not squander this sobriety. I had wrestled with sobriety for 14 years. I knew that God had a plan for me. I am also a black sheep. I did not fit in my family. I did not fit in my high school. I did not fit in anywhere. When I was 10 years old, I was downloading the content from the quantum field, the Akashic Records. I was drawing colored pencils of the Knights Templars, the Battle of 1099, the Battle of the Little Bighorn. I was a genius when it came to board games back in the day, a baseball game called Stratomatic. I was not that good of a student in school, but I was in a whole different level of consciousness than anyone in any of the schools I ever went to. I had super good attractor factor, and I had people who would follow me. But yet I wasn't the class president or anyone like that. The type of people that would follow me were other outliers like me. I didn't join a fraternity in college. It seemed it wasn't my gig. It wasn't something I wanted to do. I didn't date sorority women. It wasn't my style. I was already working 2 and 3 jobs, amassing money. But when I was in college, I consistently had 2 and 3 restaurant jobs, and I'd already started my vision of my first car, my first Mercedes. I bought my first Mercedes when I was 26 years old, my first BMW when I was 27. By the time I was 28, I owned 3 vehicles. I owned 2 businesses, and it definitely did not come from trading time for money or trading time from dollars. I'm a natural-born entrepreneur. Are you? Or are you a natural-born employee? But if you're on this call, there's a high probability that you have entrepreneurial skills. But if you're still a money struggler, money drunk, and you're still struggling, it's time that you learn. It's important that you learn to drop the drama and that you step into your higher consciousness and that you let go of the burden that you continue to hold on to. If you're overwhelmed, overweight, have a lot of debt, it's a byproduct of the feelings and the trauma that your body still holds on to. If you have challenges with focus, if you have brain fog, all these other situations, that's understandable. That's a byproduct of the trauma-based mind control that the agenda has placed upon you, and then the trauma you experience. There's 4 levels of trauma that hinder your consciousness. Emotional trauma, that's the trauma that you grew up in or you were criticized. Sexual trauma, that's the trauma that will keep you holding on to shame. Physical trauma, that's the beatings you endured as a child from one of your parents or your brother or sister or the hazings on the playground. And then the generational trauma, that's the addicts that run through all of your family. And so the addictions in your family and the drama in your family, multiple fathers, mothers coming and going, all of these situations, the narcissistic mother, father that you grew up with, that's because you're a black sheep. You were ostracized, criticized, singled out, targeted because God had a plan for you. But you must believe that. And you must actualize that. You must be able to step into your power of that. It's your responsibility to be the person you're capable of. Rather than tiptoeing quietly through life, it's going to be your responsibility to find the zone. And the zone is where you start to live in much more effortless ease. That's where you begin to understand the content of letting go and then practice the context of it so that you're not in trauma-based mind control by anyone. You're not controlled by anyone. You're in complete command of your own emotional state. And in that state of awareness, you're able to live in a non-attached state where you're not attached to the outcome. And you're able to navigate. You're able to operate in the flow. You don't feel bound to anyone because you're focused on you. And then you can focus on teammates, and then you can focus on people outside of you. But your sobriety is number one. In any 12-step program, you don't focus on someone else's sobriety, you focus on yours. Because if you're focused on someone else's sobriety, you're codependent. Now, if you take someone on as a sponsor, that's a different context. But when you're an entrepreneur, you got to take care of you. You got to be able to cover your overhead. You've got to be able to achieve at least $10,000 a month in today's world, like right now, like RFN, right? You know the word, right now. You must be able to create $10,000 months right now. If not, you don't have a business. What you have is a hobby. And if that's the case, you're either in the wrong system, the wrong company, the wrong opportunity, or you yourself are not creating the results. I've failed in multiple ventures because I was not in the mindset for it. I've followed the wrong leaders before because I was susceptible to it. I didn't follow my own gut. I was following the shiny objects, and this is a commonality. What you'll find in my database of people that I've coached, a large percent of the population of people who succeed, they reach a place called arrival. And it means they go through this process of back-to-back failures or challenges or roadblocks or setbacks or divorces or companies go out of business. I chose 2 companies that went out of business, and I was the number 1 income earner in both of them. And in another company, the owner sabotaged me. And I had conflict with her, and I left her company and took my team with her. Then I took my team away. I took my team to another business that went out of business. And then I was in the NFL club. No friends left. No funds left, and not for long. That's called the trifecta. Now, for you to be an outlier, it's like this. It's like you have to have a quantum leap. It's like you have to go over the bridge. And so when you cross that bridge, that's the bridge of consciousness. Consciousness is where you're able to live in an I understand state. I'm aware. I know. I have belief. I'm certain. In that state, you are letting go of doubt. You're not holding on to traumatic relationships any longer. You're not holding on to jobs that don't serve you. You're willing to take the risk for reward. You're willing to find this place right here called the zone. Right there, the zone. And as you begin to do this, now you're moving into this, the 20%. So right here, these are the numbers. 80% of the population lives in low consciousness. That means they live in anxiety, fear, and doubt. Most of the time they're in anger, hate, resentment, guilt, shame, abandonment, rejection, overwhelmed feelings, grief, apathy, and pride. 20% have a vibration of around 200 to 250 cycles in the world. Now, as you begin to elevate your level of consciousness, and you elevate your level of consciousness where you're transmuting your feelings at 300 to 350 cycles a second, you are completely changing who and what you attract. You will begin to attract a higher quality prospect, a higher quality lead, a higher quality opportunity. The tables will open up for you, the booths in the restaurant, the traffic lights all become green in succession. There's lanes that are open in the airport when most people are standing waiting in line. A different level of energy begins to transmute through you that brings you to higher levels of consciousness. You begin to download the content. You live in a place called the know. And in synchronicity, synchronicity are a series of either meaningful coincidences. When is a coincidence a coincidence? Or when is it alignment? Now, there are random acts of coincidence that will show up, but there's also alignment. And alignment allows you to be the law of the few. And in the law of the few, you will begin to attract people who have a much higher vibration. You'll be able to attract people who have much higher skill sets. Just like I told you, the man that I coached right before this call, he was referred to me by another one of my clients, and he is engaged to that man's daughter. So this is a free lead. This happens to me all of the time. So my client who's in the construction business, he's engaged to this woman whose father is a multi-millionaire, like decamillionaire. It means he's worth 8 figures. And he refers, if you looked at this man, you wouldn't know that his daughter is the daughter of a multi-millionaire. But that's what happens to me. That's the law of the few. Once again, I'm from a town this big, and this happens to me frequently because I expect it. That is my law of expectation. Your law of expectation is you're able to separate that from, you're able to create the law of expectation when you separate yourself from traumatic relationships. As long as you continue to foster traumatic relationships, and this is challenging because people won't leave their parents, they won't leave their family, they won't leave their job, they won't leave their career, they won't leave the relationship they're in, and they make excuses for it. And they go, but you don't understand my situation. I clearly understand your situation. You're emotionally intoxicated to a situation to fulfill the neurochemical craving that keeps you emotionally addicted to a set of feelings, which is called the payoff. When you make exceptions for yourself, you begin to attract people like yourself. And that's just broken down. If you want to write that down, that's exactly what it is. When you make excuses for your addictions, when you create, if you're not a stand-up person, and if you can't stand up to the gaff, and if you have to make excuses for the situations you're in, you will continue to perpetuate the same situation. That's the payoff. If you tell people things you're going to do and you don't deliver on it, you're a liar. I mean, it's black and white. This is why I'm good at this. This is why I live in called rigorous honesty. But if you can't follow through on your commitments, then you're relapsing. This is just sobriety. This is just how it is. And if you continue to make excuses and exceptions to stay in traumatic relationships without a plan to exit them, you're an addict. And you want to understand this. That means you're a codependent addict, and you will continue to attract your reality, the same situation, to fulfill the same set of feelings. This is science. This isn't open to interpretation. This is science. This is the law of attraction. And so the law of attraction breaks down to emotionally the way you oscillate your feelings, the way you transmute your feelings, the way you vibrate your feelings. Neurons that wire together fire together. So when you continue to hold on to fight or flight, when you go into automatic, explain, validate mode, when you get your tongue tied, when you can't communicate or articulate your feelings, you're going to continue to attract your reality, the same situation, to fulfill the same set of feelings. This is what the payoff is. The payoff means freaky situations happen to you. Bizarre situations happen to you. Off-the-wall situations continue to happen to you because you're addicted to disappointment. As long as you're addicted to disappointment, your body will hold its weight and your body will continue to create debt. You'll continue to attract the same brokenness to your reality to fulfill your feelings. People go, well, how do I? There's no how do I to it. It's a committed state, one day at a time, of accessing higher consciousness by learning the skill of letting go, the mechanism of letting go. Nobody teaches it like me. If you come to any of my events, I will teach it to you. I've been teaching it for 27 years, but most importantly, I've been teaching it to myself. I let go 7 days a week. Life isn't just flow for me. It just doesn't fucking flow every day. I mean, I go through challenges. I mean, have a coaching business someday. Many people think it's just this waltz. Oh my God, I'm this coach. Well, you will find out the degree of difficulty owning any business is. If you own an insurance business, a real estate business, a coaching business, a network marketing business, or any business where you have to contend with multiple levels of people, you've just bought yourself multiple levels of chaos. And your skill will be to navigate other people's chaos and create commerce in all the addicts that are around you while you do your best to stay in emotional sobriety. And if you can do that, my friends, you are a rock star. You will be the law of the few. So how do you become the law of the few? By committing to it. You commit to it by persuading yourself. You have to persuade your left brain to move to your right brain. As long as you live in your left brain, you'll analyze, validate, justify, and tell stories. And you won't own your own responsibilities. You'll pass the buck to someone else. And if you're a stand-up person, then you will stand up to tyranny. If you're a stand-up person, you'll stand up to your own ego. If you're a stand-up person, you'll stop lying to yourself. If you're a stand-up person, the buck stops here. If you're a stand-up person, this is a day of emotional sobriety for you. And you can really begin to do this in quantum leap. Now, in quantum time, you have 6 months of this year. Now, you can also turn that into a dog year. Now, a dog year means 1 year is 7 years. So someone who's really producing in free enterprise lives in dog years. So a dog year means the year goes by really fast. The quantum leaps happen. And in that next 6 months, they have like multiple six figures, or multiple people begin to show up because of what is let go, the control that's let go, the law of the lid is taken off. You stop trying to be someone you're not, and you focus on being who you're capable of right here, right now. If your ego has to be someone out there, then you can't be right here, right now. You can't be your best self when you're trying to be someone else out there. And this is what many people do that chase shiny objects, because they think that bling is going to bring them peace, and all it does is get them pictures and likes on Instagram and Facebook. But it does not put out the fire that continues to burn of being traumatized. Trauma is released one day at a time with a committed effort. It's very holistic and it's very naturopathic. When you encounter medical challenges, you don't go to the medical world, you go to the holistic world. You begin to figure it out on your own. These are mind-body connections. Dr. Rachel understands this. I want to give a shout out to my homegirl, Dr. Rachel Maurice. Dr. Rachel is a hero in my book. Dr. Rachel stood up the tyranny of Canada, walked away from a career, and is building her business in free enterprise. Dr. Rachel, give me a hand out there, baby. Let them know you're out there fighting the freedom for us. She has more courage than many people I know. She walked, and I know multiple people like this, that many people say, well, I had to do this medically or I was going to lose my job. Well, then that's your choice, Chief, because if that's what you believe, that's what you believe. But there are people who say, because of this, I'll walk away from my job and I will reinvent myself. That's what people of courage do. That's what an outlier does. That's what someone who has intestinal fortitude does. That's what people go, dude, you have no idea. I have a lot of debt. And I go, what do you mean you have no idea? I've had over $2 million of debt. I've had over $100,000 in credit card debt. I mean, I've drove the most beat up cars you can possibly imagine. I've lived in rooms in boarding houses. I've lived on couches. People go, you have no idea. I go, what do you mean you have no idea? I spent a year in prison. What do you mean you have no idea? I have an idea because I've been there and done that many times. I'm a recovering noble struggler. So I do have an idea. And so when the pain is great enough is not the time to change. The time to change is RFN. You figure that out. That acronym means right. You know what the F word means? And it means now. It means today, not tomorrow. It has to hurt. Tears have to come down your face. You have to get pissed off at yourself for how average you're living. If you're living average, it's because that's what you've chosen to. If you want to be exceptional, it's a different level of energy. It's a transmutation that you haven't accessed yet. It's within you, or you wouldn't even be on this call. Because I did it. Once again, I'm self-taught. I never had a mentor. No one ever gave me a hand up. No one ever taught me how to run a business. I learned by washing dishes and bussing tables when I was 13. I learned by baling hay. I learned by simple discipline. I put up thousands of bales of hay by the time I was 13 and 20 years old. I worked on farms. I worked construction. I ran jackhammers. I tore down barns. I built fences. I ran cattle, pigs. I worked on farms. I got dirty. And I told myself, I am going to own my own business. I am not going to trade time for dollars. I got hired by E.F. Hutton out of college. I lasted 5 days. I'm proud to say, I've never had a real paycheck. I've waited tables, but I've never had a real job. I've had a few commission sales jobs. I never had a base salary one time. It just wasn't me. It's either straight commission or business, and that's you. If you have this courage, you're in the right place at the right time. For you to be the law of the few, you have to be the law of the few. You don't act like it, you become it. You start to do what people who are successful do rather than do what people who are average do. Number one, stop complaining. The situation you're in is a byproduct of what you attracted. Number two, accept where you are. And where you are is a byproduct of the decisions you have created. Number three, be willing to create the changes. If you're not willing to create the changes, then shut up, pack it in, and go keep your job. Number four, be grateful for where you are. Be grateful for what you've been through to be where you are today. If you have a lot of debt, pay it off. Don't go bankrupt. Don't whine and complain about it. If you have a lot of debt, do what I did. I paid it off. I never went bankrupt. I paid off millions of dollars worth of real estate. I paid off credit card debt, never missed a payment. I would do 2 jobs or do whatever I had to do or do 2 businesses at the same time. Man up, woman up. Own your shit, dude. Own it. Instead of complaining and whining about it. Be a stand-up person rather than a lay-down person. And number 5, make amends. Ask for forgiveness. Ask for the people who you've taken advantage of or they've taken advantage of you. You forgive them, and then you be non-attached to the outcome. The non-attached state is one of the most important states of consciousness you will ever access, because until you can be non-attached, you're attached. My name is Jeffery Combs, president and founder, Golden Mastermind Seminars Incorporated. If you've been on the bubble about hiring me, get off the bubble. I mean, what are you waiting for? It's perfect? You think it's going to be a perfect day? It's going to be a perfect day when you're going to hire me? What is that, 2026 or 7? Do it, because that's what it requires. If you don't have the money, create it. I've done it. It takes creativity. It takes innovation. Takes whatever it takes, and you'll figure that out on the journey. Breathe, release, and let go in a relaxed body. Have a great afternoon, everyone. Happy 1st of July. Breathe, release, and let go. This is the gift right now is you have 6 more months in this calendar year, 2025. Have a great afternoon.